My mom's voice cracked over the phone, barely a whisper, like she was afraid the walls were listening. Lila, honey, I can only see you for 30 minutes a month, she said, and I laughed, thinking it was a sick joke. Then she sobbed and my world tilted. I was 16, living with my dad in our creaky apartment with peeling wallpaper and a fridge that hummed too loud. Mom left when I was 10, chasing love with a guy named Greg, who had a slick smile and eyes that never warmed. She'd visit sporadically, always rushed, always glancing at her watch like she was on borrowed time. I didn't know then that Greg was the one setting the clock. Dad never badmouthed her, just sighed and said, "Your mom's trying, Lila." I believed that, clung to it like a lifeline, until that phone call shredded everything. The day she told me about the 30-minute rule, I was sprawled on my bed, scrolling through X, half listening. Her words hit like a slap, and I sat up, my phone slipping to the floor. "What do you mean? 30 minutes, like a court order or something?" I asked, my voice sharp. She hesitated, then said, "No. It's Greg. He says it's best for us, for our marriage." My stomach churned. Greg, the guy who'd moved into her life like a landlord, dictating terms. I'd met him twice. Both times he'd size me up like I was a stray dog begging for scraps. "Mom, that's insane. You're my mom," I said, but she just kept apologizing, her voice a broken record of guilt and excuses. I hung up, my hands shaking. I wanted to scream, to throw something, but all I could do was stare at the photo of us on my nightstand, Mom and me at the county fair when I was 8, her laughing as I smeared cotton candy on my face. That woman was gone, replaced by someone who let a man ration her love for me. I didn't sleep that night, replaying her words, wondering how I'd become a half-hour obligation. The next day at school, I barely heard my teachers. My best friend, Sam, noticed I was off and cornered me at lunch. "Spill it, Lila," he said, shoving his fries toward me. I told him everything, my voice cracking as I described Greg's rule. Sam's eyes widened, then narrowed. "That's abuse. Lila. He's controlling her, and it's screwing you over." I shrugged, not ready to name it that, but his words stuck like burrs. I'd always thought of abuse as bruises or yelling, not this quiet, suffocating leash Greg had on Mom. The first visit under the new rule was torture. Mom showed up at Dad's apartment, her face pale, her smile forced. Greg didn't come inside, but I saw his car idling outside, like a guard dog waiting to pounce. She hugged me, too quick, too light, and I smelled her lavender perfume, the one she'd worn since I was a kid. "How's school?" she asked, her eyes darting to the clock. I wanted to shake her, to yell. "Why are you letting him do this instead?" I mumbled about algebra and track, my throat tight. 20 minutes in, she started fidgeting, checking her phone. At 29 minutes, she stood. "I have to go. Honey, I love you." She was out the door before I could reply, and I watched through the window as Greg's car peeled away, her silhouette small in the passenger seat. I started hating her, then hated myself for it. She was my mom, the one who'd braided my hair, read me stories, promised we'd always be a team. But now she was Greg's puppet, and I was collateral damage. I stopped calling her, stopped texting. If she could only spare me 30 minutes, I'd give her nothing. Dad noticed, tried to talk, but I'd slam my door, drowning him out with music. Sam kept pushing, though. "You can't let this guy win," he said one day, tossing a basketball at me. "Fight for her. Lila. She's still in there." I wanted to believe him, but every time I pictured Mom, I saw Greg's shadow behind her. Months passed, and the visits became a ritual of pain. Mom would come, we'd talk about nothing, and she'd leave, always under Greg's invisible timer. I started counting the seconds myself, each one a stab. One day, I snapped. It was a rainy afternoon, and she was 3 minutes late, blaming traffic. I didn't care. "Why do you let him control you?" I shouted, my voice echoing in the apartment. Her face crumpled, and for a second, I thought she'd break. "It's complicated, Lila," she whispered. "He's good to me, in his way." I laughed, bitter. "Good, he's stealing you from me." She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "You're choosing him," I said, and the words felt like spitting out glass. She left without another word, and I cried until my chest ached. That night, I scoured X for stories like mine, searching for answers. I found posts about controlling relationships, about men like Greg who isolated their partners, cutting them off from family. One post hit hard. "If they control your time, they control your life." I screenshotted it, sent it to Mom. No reply. I didn't expect one, but it still hurt. I started journaling, pouring out my anger, my love, my confusion. Writing became my anchor, keeping me from drowning in resentment. The breaking point came a year later. I was 17, tougher but still raw. Mom called, her voice shaky. "Lila, I'm coming tomorrow. Just me." I didn't believe her, but when she showed up, Greg's car wasn't there. She looked different older, but her eyes were clearer, like she'd woken up. We sat on the couch, and she took my hands, her grip firm for the first time in years. "I left him," she said, and my heart stopped. "I saw your message, the one about control. I kept rereading it, and I couldn't keep doing this to you." Tears streamed down her face, and I realized I was crying too. She told me everything: how Greg's rules started small, like picking her clothes, then grew into dictating her time, her thoughts. "I thought I was keeping the peace," she said, "but I was losing you." I wanted to stay mad, to punish her for the years of half-hour visits, but I couldn't. She was my mom, and she was fighting to come back. I hugged her, and we sobbed together, the kind of crying that feels like it's cleaning out your soul. The aftermath wasn't easy. Mom moved in with her sister, started therapy, and we began rebuilding, slowly. Greg tried calling her, leaving voicemails that swung from apologies to veiled threats. She blocked him, and I felt a surge of pride. We spent hours talking, untangling the mess of the last few years. I showed her my journal, and she cried reading it, promising to make things right. It wasn't perfect, trust takes time, but we were trying. One evening, we went to the county fair, just the two of us. The lights, the smells, the laughter, it was like stepping back into that old photo. She bought me cotton candy, and I smeared it on my face, just to make her laugh. For the first time in years, we weren't counting minutes. We were just us, a mom and her daughter, free. Looking back, I see the cost of Greg's control not just on Mom, but on me, on our family. It's a wound that's healing, but the scar will always be there. I learned that love isn't just words. It's fighting for the people who matter, even when it's hard. Mom's still learning that too, and I'm proud of her for it. What do you think? Was I too hard on her? Or was I right to push back? Share your thoughts. I want to hear them.